Good afternoon, everybody. I'm meteorologist Jesse Hawila, giving you a winter weather update. I think the first thing we'll lead off with here is the fact that we now know Fort Worth ISD has closed for tomorrow. And a lot of schools have continued to do that. That list will be growing, and we have it collected at WFAA.com/closing. So make sure you go there for the latest. But again, Fort Worth ISD is closed. And it's not because of the snow and ice. It's going to be very cold tomorrow morning. That's likely the reason they've canceled classes. 1.3 inches of snow. That's what fell at DFW Airport today. Last night and today, the past 24 hours. The average winter snowfall is 1.6, so we're pretty close to that. This is the most snow since February of 2022. None of this is really that abnormal for North Texas. I mean, yes, it's very cold, but we do get this little bit of snow every so often in the winter. Here's a look at the totals across the area. Now, blue shaded area, mostly less than a half an inch of snow. Especially to the southeast and to the south of the Metroplex, where we had lake enhanced, or lake effect, I should say, snow. Most areas about a half an inch to an inch and a half. That kind of fell across the heart of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And then to the southeast, freezing rain, snow mix, less than a tenth of an inch of ice. So overall, and this is what we've had in the forecast, overall, really light totals. And because the snow has been so dry and fluffy and the winds have been blowing, a lot of the area roads are actually completely fine. They're bone dry. That's great. Great to see that. Now, you saw that. Let me go back here, actually. Let me go back to this little area here. See this bullseye of snow of a half an inch to an inch and a half? A lot of that was lake effect snow. It's something you hear about in upstate New York. You hear about it in Michigan, but you don't really hear about that here in North Texas. But it did happen. So what is a lake effect snow? That's really a majority of what fell across the Metroplex. Let's zoom into Lake Lewisville. The water's relatively warm. I say relatively because it's still chilly water, but relative to the air temps, we just got word too that Dallas is closed. So Dallas ISD has closed. Richardson ISD has also closed for tomorrow. So that's that brand new information there. So now Fort Worth, Dallas, and Richardson ISDs all closed tomorrow because of the cold. Enjoy, kids. No snow tonight, but I want to get back to this lake effect snow explainer. The waters are relatively warm. We had that Arctic air move over them, much, much colder than the waters of Grapevine Lake, Lake Lewisville. So what it does is it picks up heat, it picks up moisture. That moisture rises, it condenses, and you get snowflakes, and the snow will fall downwind of the lake. So that's where we saw those higher totals of snow. Not a lot. But some of you woke up to a nice coating of snow this morning, and you certainly woke up to very cold temperatures. We tied record low temps this morning. The low this morning at DFW, 11 degrees. The previous record is 11, set back in 1905. That's the coldest temperature since, well, not that long ago, December 23rd of 2022. So last winter when we hit 11 degrees. Tonight's another very cold night. Wind chill advisory in effect for all of North Texas. Wind chills will get down to 10 degrees below zero, and that's why we're seeing these school closings start to come in. That's why I remind you, go to WFAA.com/closings for the latest list. But Dallas, Fort Worth, Richardson ISDs all closed tomorrow. Wind chills down to -10. That is until noon tomorrow. Tomorrow morning's lows will be in the single digits, around 10 in Fort Worth. We are forecasting a record low at DFW. The record is 11, set back in 1930. We're going down to 10 tonight at DFW, 10 in Waxahachie, 7 to 6 degrees along the Red River, 11 in Mexia, 9 in Granbury. So very cold, and then you factor in the winds tomorrow morning. It'll feel as cold as -9 in Gainesville, 9 below in Sherman, 7 below in Denton, and 8 degrees below zero in Decatur. We've seen some improvements today. That's great news. Let's take a look at a few tower cams. Then I'm going to get out in just a second to Cole Sullivan. But 22 at Cedar Hill feels like 10. Denton's at 25, feels like 13. The sun is shining. That has helped tremendously. Any little bit of snow that fell, it wasn't a lot of that's already melted and dried up. So that is excellent news for the commute, but it is extremely cold. Fair Park's at 23, and it feels like 11. So that's our view from the tower cams. I do want to get out to Cole Sullivan. He's in Euless right now, giving us an update on conditions in that area. Cole, how's it going?
having a little bit of a technical problem there. Hey, it happens. We'll let Cole get all situated. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at some of those roadways out there. This is the high five right there at 635 and Central Expressway. I guess you'll be able to see these shots better if I'm not in them. So you can see you do have a little bit of snow still there. Of course, we've been saying numerous times since this started about how bridges and overpasses freeze first. In fact, you're probably tired of hearing it, but and we really can't say it enough in a situation like this, because that's just a prime example of the snow and basically the conditions you can experience if you do have to drive across those bridges and overpasses when the weather's like this. Now, checking I-38 Haskell, Jesse was talking about how a lot of these roadways are perfectly fine, and a lot of that snow is already melted off, or any ice that was there. You can see the sun is out and you don't have any problems going through there. Just a little bit of, I would just say, accumulation there on the shoulders. Not going to affect your commute though. 635 at Beltline. This is closer to Denton County, definitely more apparent there. Kind of just giving you an idea of what the roadways look like across the Metroplex. So you have it there on the side of the roads, but the main lanes are just fine. 30th Circle Lane. What's interesting is I put this in my camera probably about 30 minutes ago for the ones that I wanted to show you to circle through, and you can see, I think within the last 30 minutes, the snow that was there has pretty much melted. And so I think you'll see that more as the afternoon progresses. Of course, it's going to get cold again tonight. Heading over to Tarrant County. This is I-28 US 377, so more there. And then also I have another shot in Tarrant County, 360 at I-20. Yeah, so this is another area where you have some bridges and overpasses where traffic is definitely taking its time. That's what you should do if you do have to cross over there. I haven't received word, just looking through my cameras, that you had any closures on any of our major interstates or thoroughfares. Your map, really green. Of course, with it being a holiday, this holiday could not have come at a better time. I want to go ahead and talk about what happens with bridges and overpasses, excuse me, why they freeze first. And I have a graphic to show you that. I'm just going to walk over here and pop it up. That is definitely something that you want to be aware of if you do have to venture out this afternoon, because just going through those cameras, you did see the majority of the weather still apparent on the roads where you had areas like the high five. So what happens is, the ground, it's insulated. So the main streets, most roads and highways, interstates, they have the ground to insulate it, so they kind of cool off at an even rate. But bridges and overpasses, totally different situation. Just the result is they don't have that insulation underneath. So you have the cool air going above it. You also have the cool air going below the bridge or overpass. So then that means essentially that temperature is going to drop at a faster rate. And so that's why you see those, I guess basically a lot of the freezing in the ice happens first on areas like this. And it also takes a little bit longer to melt sometimes. So it's just colder in those areas, and that's why that happens first. All right, let's go ahead and see if it's possible that we're going to go back to Jesse Huila, who's going to give us more information about our forecast, what we can expect as this today progresses into this evening and tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you, Stacia. So it's good good information there on the bridges and overpasses. The best news, too, with the sun that has been shining, that really fluffy snow, a lot of that has already dried up. So that's great news. Now, that doesn't mean there won't be slick spots developing overnight and tomorrow, especially those bridges and overpasses. So just use a little extra caution. But I will say a vast majority of the roads today are doing excellent. And that's great considering how cold it is, because we are nowhere near getting above freezing, but the sun has done some tremendous work. Also, the road crews have done tremendous work too, laying down all the brine and the salt. So anything that has fallen has either melted with that or with the assistance of the sun. So that's been great news, seeing the sun today. But again, dangerously cold temps tonight. I think we have Cole Sullivan back. Cole, you're in Euless. Give me an update on what you've been seeing on the roads and there in Euless.
Yeah, Jesse, and it's so cold out that the batteries in our microphones sometimes give out a little bit, so that's why we couldn't be there with you earlier. You were mentioning bridges and overpasses a moment ago. We're on a small neighborhood bridge here in Euless, and you can see the difference. You were talking about how the sun has done such a great job with the snow that we've seen on the roads, and it really has. It's made a huge difference here. You can see the snow and the grass by comparison. The roads pretty much bone dry in lots of parts of Euless, as we've seen today, but the bridges, a little bit of a different story. You can see see, especially in the shade along this sidewalk right here, there is still some snow in this area, and it is slick at points. And as Stacia was talking about, this is the real danger point, is that this may refreeze because there's cold air underneath and cold air up above. These could be some of the slick spots that you'll see in your neighborhood. Road crews, we were out talking to some in the city of Hearst nearby today. They were out sanding for a couple of hours. You could hear folks going by there. They were out sanding for a couple of hours. They have a mix of sand and some de-icer chemicals that they use. They said most of their area in Hearst was okay. It wasn't too icy or too snowy, but the big difference really came when the sun came out around 11:30 or 12:30 today, and we got just such a huge difference from when we were driving around this neighborhood. You can look at this hill of the street here. You can just see there's no snow on it right now. We drove down this very road around 11 o'clock this morning, and it looked completely different. It looked all like this with snow here on the ground. The sun makes a huge difference there. The cold, however, is sticking around. There aren't that many folks out walking around in these neighborhoods. People bringing their dogs out real quick and then back inside because the dogs don't want to be out here either. It is just brutally bone-chilling cold still. Jesse.
All right, thank you, Cole. Let's get into some of the user sent in photos. This one from Alan Wright. Enough snow to show the paw prints of my dogs. Surviving the snow in South Murphy. Pretty scene there. We go over to this one from Paula. Alito didn't go out to measure. I mean, I wouldn't. There's not a, there's a little bit of snow for sure, but not enough to get out there in this cold. It's about a half an inch to an inch. Frisco, a little bit of snow there too, very fluffy. You can see it was covering the roads this morning, but the sun, a little bit of wind has blown that off the roads, and now it's evaporated. So that's good news there. Rockwall just now, a little bit of snow there too. So the winter blast, it happened. Now we're just left with the cold. The precip is done. The snow is done. Thank you for sending all those photos and videos in. We really appreciate it. For the rest of tonight, we are quiet. Clouds will kind of fill back into the area tonight. Not expecting more snow. So again, just a very dangerously cold night tonight. Temperatures tomorrow will get up to 27 in Denton, 28 in Dallas. So it's another day where we stay below freezing. Just a reminder, if you just joined us for this web special here, a lot of schools have closed, including Dallas ISD for tomorrow, including Fort Worth ISD. And Arlington is now closed as well. So Arlington, Fort Worth, Richardson, Dallas, I know Garland and Mesquite have now closed too. So if you're watching, there's school closures are really spilling in. Go to WFAA.com/closings for the very latest because that list is being updated constantly. And it sounds like right now, a lot of these schools are starting to close for tomorrow. Because of the cold, not because of the ice. 16 degrees tomorrow morning at 9 after a morning low of 10. Wind chills will get down to 10 below in some spots. We're not above freezing tomorrow. Okay, so we're staying in the 20s tomorrow afternoon. 28 will be the high. We went down below freezing at 6 p.m. Saturday. We went to 31 abruptly from 37. Right now it's 22, so that's about 41, 42 hours. We'll go back up above freezing at 11 o'clock Wednesday. So we'll be about 89 total hours where we've stayed below freezing. All right, make sure you stay with us, WFAA.com for the latest. There's a lot of great information there on our weather page, also the home page. We have some explainers about the lake effect snow. We have your latest forecast. Join me at 4 o'clock for the news, 5, 6, and 10 with Chief Meteorologist Pete Delkus, and we'll get through the rest of this very cold air that's in place. We'll see you later.